morning, Governor. I had a chance yesterday to watch some video from the debate last week, and I had a few suggestions. So let's start with something basic and, for most people, easy. I want you to smile for me. Let's see that smile. What is that? What are you doing with your face? Please stop. Stop. Stop it! So the consensus regarding your performance in the debate seems to be that you needed to stand out more. You sort of faded into the background. You were just kind of there. You were wallpaper. You needed to be the center of attention, but instead, the center of attention was Vivek Ramaswamy, which frankly left me embarrassed for him and for you. And I wouldn't vote for either one of you if there was a gun to my head. It's just a reflexive emotional response that I can't control, apparently. All those times Chris Christie went after Vivek, dunked on him, nailed him with those zingers. That should have been you. If that's you next time, guess what that makes you? Center of attention. Work on making yourself just viscerally hateable and utterly repellent. It shouldn't be too difficult. You've been doing it more or less nonstop since you entered public life. Not like that. Stop. Stop with the smile. Stop. Stop. Okay, a couple of other points. You're still polling way behind Trump. Our research suggests that one of the things Trump's base likes about him is that they perceive him to be tough. I don't get it. He seems softer than those pillows that other crazy guy sells, but you don't pay me to evaluate the other guys. So, during the debate, they asked you all to raise your hands if you would still support Donald Trump as the Republican nominee, even if he is convicted in a court of law, and you kind of peeked around at what everyone else was doing before you raised your hand. That made you look indecisive. Voters like decisive. They equate decisiveness with toughness. So, we're going to do a practice here. Okay? All I want you to do is raise your hand after everything I say. That's it. Don't hesitate. Don't try to read the room. Just put it up. Got it? Okay, here we go. Raise your hand if you would still support Donald Trump if he were convicted in court. No, faster. You've got to be faster. You already committed to that one in public. That's a layup. Raise your hand if you support banning abortion. A little bit higher. You look embarrassed if it's only half staff like that. Be bold. Be strong. You support using the power of the state to deprive people of their bodily autonomy. Be proud. Raise your hand if you believe climate change is a hoax. Good. The quick hand raise, I mean, not the fact that I know that's your actual opinion. Raise your hand if you believe Star Wars was better when there was only one black person in it. There we go! Good snap. And what about when there were no black people in it? That's it. Don't hurt yourself now. Raise your hand if deep state Hunter Biden grooming critical race theory. Excellent buzzword reflexes. Raise your hand if you think Chris Christie should just go work for CNN already. Thought you'd like that one. Raise your hand if you would use your presidential powers to pardon Donald Trump. What are you doing? Are you thinking about it? You're running to be the Republican nominee. We're not here to practice thinking. Raise your hand if you think Florida is the best state. That time it went up depressingly fast. Moving on. I've also looked at a few of your recent campaign appearances. And your stump speech feels a little repetitive. Too much woke this and woke that. Too many derivatives of woke. So I want to pitch you a few alternatives that you can work in if you like them. And I just need a nod for yes or a shake for no. Okay? Cancel culture. That works. Okay. Political correctness. No? Too old school? I agree. Don't want to risk losing the kids. Groupthink. What is it? Well, actually, it's a psychological term that describes a phenomenon that sometimes occurs within groups where there's pressure for everyone to agree, even if they have doubts or different opinions, but you're just going to use it to object whenever someone calls you out for being a bigot. I believe the actual word was coined to be deliberately reminiscent of newspeak. So it's meant to sound, sinister and Orwellian. Orwellian, as in George Orwell. He wrote 1984. That's a book. A book, the things you had them take out of the schools. The witch Bibles, yes. So is that a yes or a no for groupthink? Is that a nod or a shake? I can't tell if that's a nod or if you're doing that thing you do sometimes when you're trying to think of an answer to a question. This here. Okay, you continuing to do it doesn't help. Never mind, moving on. Try that smile one more time. Jesus Christ. James, where's my money?